guys, I'm Chewy Mew, and welcome to my channel, but more specifically, welcome back to another Chewy Mew review, where today I'm going to be taking a look at a figure that I bet most people would think is the definitive Venom figure. Technically the Toybiz Spider-Man Classics Venom figure. So this figure was re-released by Hasbro, and as you may notice, the spider's painted pretty badly. I painted that, and yeah, it's hard to paint. It's hard to paint designs, like complicated designs like that, especially on a black figure with white paint, because black or white paint barely sticks on a black figure, you know? And this figure was also re-released by Hasbro, and the Hasbro spider had the ultimate spider design, so Hasbro commandeered the mold and used it for their version. But I don't have that one. I don't own the Toybiz one, and I don't own the Hasbro one, so where did this come from? So I got this from a swap meet. So swap meet is it's like a place you guys might know about it. It's kind of like an outdoors market thing where you go and then you can buy food, you can buy toys, clothes, you can buy like a bunch of stuff. It's pretty much like a mall outdoors. You guys might know about it. This figure is a bootleg. It's not the official version. It's based off the Hasbro mold, but it's not the actual Hasbro one. This is an off-brand one. It's a fake, you could call it. And yeah, so I bought it. I got it. It was like, I think it was like $6 or $7 because it was a bootleg. And the kid, I always wanted to get this figure, even whether it was the Hasbro one or the Toybiz one, and I could never find them in stores. I never saw them in stores. So I was like, I asked my mom, should I buy the off-brand one or should I just try and find the name? And she said, well, you might never find the name brand, so just get this one, because what if you never find it? I was like, yeah, good idea. And that was before the internet was really popular. That was like maybe 2008, maybe 2009, maybe. I think 10, I don't remember, but it was before, like, you know, eBay and Amazon were like huge things. That was back when, like, you didn't really buy stuff online, you know? So let's take a look at this figure. Take a look at the face. Come on, bend the knees there. Oops. There's like a little crack there. The off-brand ones, they sometimes have a little crack there. I had to super glue it together when playing with stuff, because playing with this one quite a bit, they sometimes kind of fall apart a bit. So I re-super glued it, and there's the face. That's a great, awesome looking face too. Take that off to get a better look at it. Oops. Stay there, Venom. That's a very great looking face. Extremely creepy, extremely gross looking. Looks kind of like a demon almost. Like, very crazy. Look at those crazy eyes. I also repainted the eyes because they were like a weird silvery color. I repainted the teeth. Some of them came out white. Some came out like a bloody red. There's the tongue. The tongue on the Toybiz one had like green chunks hanging off of it. Like there was like green chunks of saliva in his mouth and on the tongue. The Hasbro one was just painted all like very light red, looked like almost kind of pink. And so I repainted it, trying to make it look more like the Toybiz one, like more like classic Venom. It also has a ball joint here, pretty good ball joint there. So when you put the head on, that's where you get the ball joint. Like a lot of movement there, pretty cool. Move the head out of the way. And there's the spider logo, which it came out bad. I know it looks pretty bad. But painting stuff like this, painting white over top of black, and using a paintbrush, that's really hard to do. So on another Spider-Man custom I did, where I made my custom, the custom Toybiz Black Suit Spider-Man based off the Spider-Man 3, I used Sharpie paint markers. It's Sharpie markers, permanent markers, except they have paint. So you shake them up and then you can like paint them on and stuff. So it's like you're basically painting with like a marker rather than, you know, taking a paintbrush and having to paint it. Or I should do that because I'm left-handed. So I might actually go back and repaint all of this black. I might just paint it all black again and then try painting it, making it look better. But yeah, so I'm probably gonna go do that. I also painted these squares because the original one, I don't think it had squares. The dot there is fading off. So as a kid, I just played with it looking normal, but then it wasn't until like maybe I don't know, like maybe 2015, I repainted it. You can sound my voice sounds raspy now because all the talking I've been doing for videos and stuff. There's the more texture. I like that there's like a lot of, You can see like a lot of bumpy stuff, like a lot of bumps, like the symbiote just like, you know, bunch of chunks and stuff. I like that it doesn't have, it's not just flat, it's not just one whole piece. It's like a lot of crazy texturing, like very rough, like not rough like sandpaper, but very bumpy. Like you can see the back has a bunch of lumps on here, a bunch of like parts sticking out. You can see all over the neck, a lot of crazy joints. To me, this is like the perfect monster looking Venom, you know? Like you have the classic like 80s style Venom, the Sinister Six box set Venom where it's like very smooth. He's just really buff, but everything's smooth and like, you know, very calm looking kind of faces, like big eyes and like just a grill of, you know, a bunch of sharp teeth there. You see there's like a crack there because as a kid I dropped it and then it went pow on the ground and it kind of broke open. But you know, off-brands typically have a bad rap for being known as the articulation being like kind of being poor, being like low quality, but this feels heavy. It feels really good. I bet if I had the name brand here, you could tell the difference, but some joints are kind of tight, some joints don't want to move, but this is still a great substitute. If I was to get this as a gift, if I was like to get this as a gift, I would just think it's the Hasbro version. I wouldn't think, oh, that's a bootleg, because it feels so good, you know? Look at all the crazy, there's like a combination of muscles and veins and looks like a bunch of just chunks here. Like, honestly, it kind of looks like Hasbro just decided, you know, let's make a Venom figure and let's just make it crazy looking. A bunch of chunks here. Like you can see here, more bumps on the neck, a bunch of wrinkles here. And also the legs aren't symmetrical. Like if you look at this thigh here is kind of sticking out farther than that thigh there. You can see the bumps here are different. They didn't just take like, you know, they typically just take one leg and then they just mirror it for this one. You know, like they just make the left leg and then they just copy all this and they flip it to make this one, you know? They didn't do that. They made like two separate leg sculpts. Like these parts look kind of similar, but this one has like bumps here. This one doesn't. The feet, I think the feet are identical. And if you look on the bottom, the logo is actually scratched out. It's hard to see. You can't see it, but they scratched out the logo on both feet. I don't know what the bottom of the foot said. Probably said like made in China, but they scratched it off, so I guess you couldn't see that. But when I bought it, I said, how much is the Venom? And he said it was like $6 or $7, $8, something like that. And he said, but it's not the real one, it's the fake version. And at the time I didn't even know what that was, and I was like, what do you mean? And he said, well, it's not made by the actual company. It was made by some other company, and so it's cheaper because it's not the actual one. Like he explained it to me and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't even know that was real. But now I do. There's some more, you get some more bumps here. Very bumpy. The butt is not bumpy at all. It's kind of just like, you know, lines go in there, but who cares? No one's going to be looking at Venom's butt, right? It just looks so crazy. Like, this is something insane that Toybiz did. It's so crazy how a bootleg version got the mold and was able to recreate this. Like, that alone is crazy. You can see some of the shiny blue there coming up. But yeah, I think this figure looks spectacular. But yeah, this just looks great. The arms are so bulky, you can't even put them all the way down. They're kind of stuck like that. And that looks cool. Like, he's kind of like in a tough position. And the fists there, I think when the fists are up, they look kind of small. But when you have the palms open, they look a little bigger. I feel like they're a little too small. Like, if they were a little bit bigger and if his wrists were a little bit thicker. But other than that, I think this figure is amazing. Just like the huge torso. The arms are massive, like gorilla-sized arms. He's hunched over. And if we compare him to a figure, like, for example, this is my first Spider-Man figure ever, my favorite figure, and you can see how much I played with it. He's quite a bit taller than Spider-Man, like up to there. Quite a bit taller than Spider-Man. And also, he's hunched over, too. His neck is, like, way over there. If he was to be standing up straight, like, we take this head off. If he was standing up straight, his head would probably be, like, up there, you know? With how big this guy's huge. Like, set him there. And set him back there. And here, for example, is the Hasbro Marvel Legends movie Venom figure. You can see these two. This guy is a lot taller than him and has so much more articulation. Like this is super posable. This is crazy posable. This guy has a lot of articulation, but not nearly as much. But Like, I think this guy is so much better looking. I love the way this looks, but this is like a big boy. We're talking big boy Venom. Let's go over his articulation. The head, the neck, you can tilt it quite a bit that way. He can't look up too much. He can look down pretty good. Just because the way he's hunched over, he can't look up too much. But, yeah, that's fine. He has a ball joint here in the torso, which is pretty good, actually. The thing is, with the ball joint, he doesn't move down too much. Kind of moves down a bit. Doesn't go back too much. But you can get him to go tilt side to side, and has a lot of motion here, but it doesn't have, like, you can't bend him down too much, you know? Rotation here in the waist. Rotation here on the arm. The arm doesn't go all the way up because how thick he is. The rotation here in the upper arm. Single bend in the elbow because how thick this guy is. A rotation here in the wrist. A hinge in the wrist. And then you can move each finger individually. And like playing with this as a kid, even though Venom, he just makes a fist to shoot webs, I still would like giving him the web hand. Like it was like a way of like making fun of Spider-Man. I don't know why, but I just thought that was really cool just to do that. The legs kick up. They don't go up too high because how thick he is. They go back kind of a bit. And he's so thick, but he can still do the splits. Rotation here in the upper thigh. Double bend in the elbow, which rotating this one down here at the bottom that's so tight to move. But you can bend it. Like, it being an off-brand, some joints are just really, really sticky. Like, some joints, they just won't go. Like, that one moves fine, but the left one doesn't. The foot goes forward and goes back really good. He's supposed to have a hinge here in the leg, which it doesn't move because it's an off-brand. You probably can't. Like this one, you can see that one looks lower, whereas this one is kind of more sticking out. You can bend the toe up, you can bend the toe down, and yeah, so this figure he doesn't have like, you know, he does have great articulation. Like the legs are perfect, the upper torso here, but I don't know. He feels like he's missing some posability, but even without that articulation, still makes for an amazing figure. Like this figure, I think definitely this is my favorite Venom figure. I think this is the best Venom figure as well. But overall, a great figure. Let me know what you think about this figure in the comments. If you liked the video, you know, leave a like. If you want to see more figure reviews and stuff like this, make sure to check all the other videos out on my channel. And subscribe if you're not already. And so with how good this Venom figure is, he doesn't need wah. He's so good, he doesn't even need that. So instead, bye guys.